Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Jade. How are you on this wonderful Monday?
Oh, I'm great, but I'm hiding from the absolute gale force winds that are out there. So I'm hoping, and I feel like today's the day that I got the most spectacular sunrise and beat you.
It's
Oh,
it's looking spectacular in the background there.
it
Um,
is amazing.
I'm inside hiding from torrential rain and gale force winds, so you know it's probably better to stay inside. Unfortunately, there would be no point shining the camera out the window either because all you'd see is grey.
Yeah, no, I opened this door because I was like, oh yeah, at least I'll have the double doors open. I was like, oh no, everything just started moving inside, and the wind's not even coming from that direction. The wind's actually coming from the completely other direction. It's just swirling around. So
Ooh,
yeah,
lots of fun.
it's going to be a big day.
Big day. Absolutely. So it's Monday in
Man,
week
yay!
six. Monday in week six. So we're really focusing this week on what's going to happen after the 6 week solid. So we spoke yesterday about the bumpers and having the bumpers on, and that's really what the 6 weeks was about. Was being in a community where there's a bit of a bumpers on. You're constantly hearing about keeping on track and all of that sort of stuff. It's time to put our big boy panties on and our big girl panties on, and we're going to have to take the bumpers off next week, and we're going to have to survive ourselves. So one of the things that Vishen talks about in Code of the Extraordinary Mind is the notches on the belt. Now, I don't know how many people have maybe read that far into the code or have actually read the code. So maybe I might let you talk about what's the notches on the belt and why is that significant for next week?
Yep. What I love about the concept of notches on the belt is two things. It's a real visible, tangible thing that you can see, rather than weight on a scale. Because for me, when I train, I build muscle really quick. And as a girl, if you buy into the bullshit rules and you focus on weight, then that can really, the rules. That's it, still there. It can really fuck with your head. So Vishen's idea is that every year he upgrades his systems for living, one of those being around his training, exercise, and health. And the way he measures how he's tracking or whether he's off track is the notches on his favorite belt. So they're called set points. So he knows that if he gets past a certain notch on his belt, then, shit's gone south and it's time to put the wagon back on the rails. So I've got like a pair of shorts. And I think you guys have heard me talk about that before. I've got my favorite shorts. If I can zip them up easily, we're good. If they're a little bit snug, maybe need time to do some work. If they don't zip up, we're in a whole bunch of trouble. Like shit's gone south.
It's super important, firstly, though, to just go, that's only one set point, and it's perfectly normal to change size.
Yes.
This is a normal part of diet. Now, diet is a long-term thing, not a 6 week thing. It's a normal part of life is that our bodies will change. We will put fat on, we'll take fat off. So it is a perfectly normal thing for our bodies to change shape and to get a little bit bigger, get a little bit smaller. And the purpose of that particular set point is to know when things might be getting out of control a little bit.
So and it can take a little while until you figure out what your set point is. So once you've done the work and you've got yourself into a space where you're like, yep, this is my comfortable area. This is the shape that actually suits my body type, and this is where I'm going to roll. So that's a really important point too, Kyle. Like it's not always, it won't always be the same. Because it'll be dependent on, and it might be like, for this year, those are the pants. Like I know now at 43, roughly where my body sits and like the range that works for me. And it is a range. It's like I said, it's like, are they a bit smug? Are they not so snug? And working with that. And that's just on, say, the physical. The idea of set points is how you're going to know when the wheels are off the wagon. When do you know that you've fallen off track? I just want to quickly address John the accountant on YouTube has just popped in and said, Hey, I thought I subscribed because he's watching on your APT hydraulics channel right now, Kyle. He's like, I thought I subscribed to this channel for education about hydraulics. Now, glad you mentioned it, John. There is plenty of education about hydraulics on here, but Kyle, do you want to just enlighten John why we send this stream here on our 6 a.m.s?
So, John, we also look after teams, and this we thought we'd share with everyone, mate. So hopefully you get some value out of hearing about how you can, lead yourself and lead a team a little bit better than maybe you have been. But also there's heaps of hydraulics info there too. So bit of both, mate. Enjoy.
Yeah. The whole thing that we look at with the business being human centric. So APT, one of the core virtues with APT is being human centric, and we look at the whole human doing the job. And we feel that if someone's running all the hydraulics gear who maybe not in their best state of mind, maybe a little cloudy, maybe not feeling at their ultimate self, they may be not as safe or as productive as they could be. So we're all about whole human and about all elements. So it's not about just how well you can sling a wrench or how well you can read a pressure gauge. It's also about who you are as a human, how you turn up for your team. So I hope that answers that question for you, John. So the 6 a.m.s will be all around self-leadership at the moment. So the set points, Kyle, would you kind of go, oh, okay, well, how do I set my set points for something like learning or for other aspects? Like it's a physical one is a little bit easier, right? We can see the visible notch on the belt. But what about upgrading our software of our brains, getting better in learning? What's your ideas of what we can put into place there?
Well, I think the 10 pages a day is probably a really good one to think about and have, as one of those guidelines. And, if you get to the end of the week and you sort of go, oh, it's been a few days and I haven't actually done any reading, maybe that's another set point is, I'm going to read at least 2 or 3 days a week, or, not necessarily set a limit, so to speak, but, have I actually sat down and done the reading thing?
Yeah. So this is where I do love using a habit tracker. I've been looking around my place going, where am I going to put my whiteboards? Or then I was like, oh, maybe I want a really nice chalkboard with a timber frame around it, to be able to mark down, like, did I do my reading today, or did I do my learning today, so that I can just visibly see at the end, when I sit down at the end of the week and take stock, did I hit my set points? So I don't want you to think about it as KPIs or anything like that, but what gets measured gets done. And when we can't reflect back over to see where our momentum is, we can sometimes not realize where we've gone off track and what we need to do to get ourselves back on track. So we've talked about rolling into the next 6 weeks as 6 weeks of upgrading our systems of living and choosing those things. This is about choosing the set points that you want to have. So it might be around what might be about what bumpers you do keep on, like in terms of, I'm only going to have, for me, I was literally thinking about this morning, Kyle, because my best friend and I, Cassie, we always do Taco Tuesday. And so she's like, oh my gosh, can't wait for Taco Tuesday. I said, still no Taco Tuesday yet, sweet love. But then I was like, okay, well, what would be my system for living? What would be my set point for that? And I think I'll have 2 pure wild fit meals a week. Now that doesn't mean they'll be bad meals, but for me, having our service station down the road has all like a full, like healthy, organic, like whole foods, like you've just never seen a service station like it. And they do legitimately the best taco shells you've ever eaten, the best. And they're literally just corn and water. Like, but being wild food, I normally eat corn. So there's no nasties in it, no preservatives, no sugar, no crap. But I just wouldn't normally eat corn. So that will be one of mine, will be to be able to do that.
Yep, absolutely. And it's just about finding, a couple of things. It doesn't have to be lots and lots, like the notch in the belt that Vishen talks about is just a quick, easy, how hang on. And like you said, your favorite pair of shorts. It's just a really easy bit of a warning, I guess, that maybe we haven't been looking after ourselves perfectly, or we've let things run away from us. And so, we've just got to look into all the other areas that we've sort of spoken about. Even with the sharing the messages of love. If you're not actually out sharing your messages with everyone else around you, what's stopped you from talking to everyone else? What's brought that to an end, I guess.
So yeah, I think it's really easy when you've got the visibles, because you can just walk past and see. And that's why I do love the whiteboard for the more intangible items, or like it can be your journal book. It's just about making sure that you do have a way to reflect over it and ask yourself, and that you do it more regularly. Because if you wait for 2 months before you reflect back, the ability to bring it back is really difficult. Or the ability, say you stopped your reading and you didn't read for 3 weeks, getting back into that ingrained habit takes time. So the quicker you catch yourself, the quicker you're back on track.
Yep. And it's just, I know, in the planner that I had used, the daily planner, there was the reflection at the end of each day, at the end of each week, and then the end of each month. And I think that was a really good way to just sort of reflect on the things that have happened, so that we actually pay attention to it and see where we might have got off track or anything else like that. So it's, just that continual reflection is actually a really good plan.
Yeah. Actually, I did a session, I did a speaking gig on Saturday, and one of the things I really nailed home was feedback. And we were doing Weaponize Your Workforce. So most of it was around like working on the team. But some really great questions. I was like, oh, but I'm the only person. It's like, well, you are the workforce. You need to weaponize you. And like, if you're not sitting down at the end of every week, and this goes for team, any individuals, and giving yourself feedback, then you're not giving yourself the opportunity to progress.
Yep.
Because
exactly.
you're not looking at you're not being your own coach. Like if you think about, you come off, if you had a football coach, you come off the field, the coach is going to say what's working, what's not working, what you did great, and what you should keep doing, and where you need to maybe correct your form a little, or try something different, or be a bit braver. Right? You've got that person to help you go, what's working, what's not working. You don't need to have a manager. You don't need to have another team leader or a supervisor or somebody else to do this for you. This is the 6 weeks of self leadership edition. Sit down, make your set points on a Monday. Go, right. What are the things I want to measure this week? What matters to me? And then on Friday, drop back in with yourself and ask, what's working? What's not working? Did I do what I said I was going to do? And if not, why not? And what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Well, I think that's the moment for today is, there it is. So what are your set points and when are you checking? And
try and get my sunrise for you.
Trying to get the sunrise in. Apologies about the lack of sunrise on my end this week or today. But that's it for today. Look at that beautiful sunrise. Think about how are you going to reflect each day and each week on how you're going in general. So, have a feedback loop that you go through on a regular basis. And, think about next week, how are you going to judge whether you're still on track with how you want to be, showing up as the person you want to be.
I'm doing my best here for this, Kyle. It's not really working for me. Beautiful. We'll give you guys a couple of seconds to enjoy that sunrise and just really think about what you're going to put into action from today. Oh, so good. It's not going to work for you guys. I think we have to call it, Carl.
We'll have to call it.
The wind smashed my windows.
Have an amazing day, everyone, and we'll see you back tomorrow morning.
Bye, guys.